to Have You Ever Seen, the movie podcast in which we ask each other the most important question of all. Have you ever seen? So far, Luke has asked if anybody had ever seen Ghostbusters 2. And last time, Alex asked if we'd seen The Big Bus. Each week, our spinner decides which of us gets to inflict their dubious film taste upon the rest of the cast. My name's Sam, and I'll be your host this week. Since last time, I was lucky enough to win the spin. Joining me as always, and introduce themselves with their best duck puns are Rob.
Hi, I'm Rob, and I'm not very organised, so I'm going to leave mine till the end of the podcast and then take a quack at it.
Okay. Alex.
My name's Alex, and I've brought my duck doms to prevent me from getting a quack TI.
Doesn't make any sense. You know, how can I follow up that? Hi, I'm Luke.
I have to say that is probably about the level of the puns in house. It's better than some of them.
I can't follow that up with. I'll have to see if I have any that will fit the bill. You know what though? Before we shoot on, I did hear a couple of funny duck jokes that I thought might tickle you.
Go through.
How do you make a duck sing soul music? you put him in a microwave until his bill withers. What do you see when a duck bends over? It's butt quack. And what do you call a cat that eats a duck?
Hungry?
A duck-filled fatty puss.
That's good. That's good.
So there we go. Just start us off as we mean to go
hour
on.
of duck jokes.
Yeah.
But before we jump into my choice, we need to round the week of movies and shows that we've been enjoying, or perhaps even regretting watching. Alex, what have you been watching this week?
This week, like probably everybody else in the world, based on social media, I've been watching The Umbrella Academy. For anyone who doesn't know, which is probably no one, it's been adapted from a comic book series published by Dark Horse Comics. The premise is around 7 dysfunctional youth. Well, they're not so young when we come to them. We're at 30. And they've all got magic powers or whatever that sort of comes out. And they're all trained by this dude called Sir Reginald Hargreaves.
Traditional evil billionaire.
Yeah,
I'll watch this as well.
Yeah,
I love
X-Men.
it's kind of
You
like
kind of missed the
X-Men,
biggest
isn't it,
conceit of the show there as an intro to it.
You're summarising it like a gran watching Avengers for the first time. They've all got these magic powers. And
There's one called Thor.
There's one called 1, there's one called 2,
Oh
there's
yeah.
one called 3,
Are there any more characters? What are they called?
What's the fourth one?
fourth one's called 4,
Yeah.
and there's one called 5,
Okay.
there's one
Okay.
called 6,
Any other characters?
7.
Ah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
So I think I'm the only one out of us
Yeah,
four
yeah.
that hasn't watched it, and you're not selling it to me. So
The big part of it that sold me was the idea that on this random day, I don't know what the date is, but on a random day.
Oh, I've got the date.
There you
It's the date was October the 1st, 1989.
And 43 women had babies and they'd not been pregnant before that day.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Just bang
It was
on.
like midday, like 12 that day. They all just
Going to labour.
inexplicably gave birth, which is a really interesting.
Yeah, I love that. So I read that. I
concept.
thought I'll give this a
Really.
go.
And it's open to, because the billionaire, the eccentric billionaire, goes around and he manages to get 7. He buys 7 of these children from the people who had them.
Okay.
There's got a lot of scope for stories there. I'm really surprised they didn't go down the obvious route of they're having to battle some of the other
ones.
black babies that were
I
born
think it'll
that
come
day.
into that.
I think that'll
I've read one comic and they weren't doing that at that point, but
Yeah.
No, I think it's
Another comic.
like, I think it's pretty cool.
I was surprised at who the author was of the
Yeah,
comic.
yeah.
It was the lead singer from
Gerard Way.
My Chemical Romance.
My Chemical Romance,
Yeah.
which at first put me off, but then I watched a few interviews with
Yeah,
him.
he seems like he's
And
a
he's
cool guy,
not-
actually.
It seems like, when we were sort of teenagers and we were going through that emo-y, grebo-y phase, but now he just seems like one of us, like a real sort of geek.
Yeah, just likes
So
those
he
things,
seems
doesn't
quite likeable, but yeah, I'll give it a go. Are you the only one who's read a comic? Have you? Of anyone?
No, I did not. I haven't even heard of the comic.
Yeah, I've read
before,
one
actually.
comic. I've got it. I can lend it. I'll lend it out happily.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like they've done a really good job. I mean, whatever. Number one, the no
Spaceman.
spoilers, but Spaceman. We'll call him Spaceman.
Yeah.
He's got an interesting twist.
Mm.
Explain his reason for heavy overcoats.
Yeah.
And the way they kind of realise his comic version, which is really cool and stylised to kind of the TV version, is really, really
I
good.
mean, visually, the thing that drew me in is they're kind of going for a Wes Anderson style.
It reminds me a bit of Lemony Snicket's,
Yeah, a little bit Lemony Snicket.
in a good way though.
And you know what it reminded me of, in a really positive way? The Haunting of Hill House, if anyone grabbed that.
Still not yet,
that
no.
was a real strong family drama with a horror backdrop. This is exactly the same. It's a family drama first, with the superhero backdrop sort of playing second fiddle. That's a pun. That's a good pun.
Yeah.
For the people who watched it. Yeah.
I was just going to say,
I was trying to work out where the duck connection was.
No. We'll come back to duck puns.
I was just going to say that, like, I really enjoyed The Umbrella Academy, and it was a really easy watch.
Yeah, we jumped all over your thing.
Yeah, no. It's cool, but like, what I would say is, if you like The Umbrella Academy, if
You know what? You don't even finish that sentence.
Is it begin with T and rhyme with Mitons?
Exactly. If you like The Umbrella Academy,
I did think that.
you'll love Titans, because I actually
Starring who?
starring Brenton.
Brenton
Flakes.
Yeah. Okay.
Who I don't think would look out of place in the Umbrella Academy. I wouldn't mind a Titans Umbrella Academy sort of fight off or something. Yeah.
My thing with Umbrella Academy, I think it's not a perfect show, but I'd say yet. I really enjoyed it, and I was genuinely a bit gutted that I finished it. So I was enjoying
it's got
so much.
potential.
I love the world.
The ending is really strong. I really love how they ended the series. And I think it's open to a really exciting series too.
And great performance by Mary J. Blige.
I really like Mary J.
Blige. Was great, isn't it?
I didn't know who she was.
She's great,
I didn't know who she was, and I was watching it. I
saw the name. I was like, "Who's she playing?" I was like, "That's Mary J. Blige."
I would say for me, the strongest performance in all of it is number 5. He absolutely carries the show. He anchors it for me. He's absolutely brilliant, and he's a kid.
Yeah,
so
really
fair play to whatever your name is. Hang on, insert name here.
Aidan Gallagher.
Oh, brilliant!
Right
Yeah, yeah.
You remember that well, Luke.
I remember that really well.
Yeah.
Good job.
So, Rob, what have you been watching?
So we're going from something that everyone apart from me has watched to something that I think only I have watched, and that is Can You Ever Forgive Me? The Melissa McCarthy, Richard E. Grant drama.
I've read excellent reviews, but yeah, I've not been able to track it down yet.
I would 100% recommend it. It's based on Lee Israel's confessional memoir about a celebrity biographer who falls out of trend with current tastes and starts basically forging private letters from deceased authors and selling them to local bookshops to make money.
Okay.
And it's a strange one because it's a crime that you really can't sensationalise on screen. But the performances are so strong that they carry the whole story.
It's a really unusual pairing.
It's-
Richard E. Grant.
Yeah. Richard E. Grant seems to be doing a lot of work at the moment. He's in the new Star Wars episode 9, and he's got an incredible role there.
They have such good
I think she's better
chemistry.
for drama, isn't she?
Well, this film made me realise that she needs to quit comedy.
Exactly, man. Yeah,
Because
I agree. Yeah.
She doesn't work in comedy roles, however much she tries. But the 2 roles that I've seen her in where she does drama, there was this and St. Vincent with Bill Murray.
Yeah.
Those are my 2 favourite Melissa McCarthy
Having
films.
seen her with other people who don't normally do comedy, I think her and Jason Statham after Spy should switch, because Statham is just made for comedy, isn't he?
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
He's wonderful in that film.
he's brilliant.
Yeah, it looks
I'd like to
he's-
see him.
Although that's
play the
no
same roles.
surprise, because anyone who's seen the Crank films, they're amazing.
Future episode
Yeah.
definitely coming soon.
Yeah, I love Crank.
But yeah, Can You Ever Forgive Me? I'd recommend
Fantastic.
you all watch it.
Oh yeah,
Give it
let's
a go.
track it down. Yeah.
Now, Luke, you wanted to go last, I believe. So-
No
No difference.
no preference. Go ahead. That's fine. You go on. You go ahead. It's fine.
This is Duckwood.
Yeah. You know what? Go next. No, I'm next.
You know next?
I actually watched loads over the past, since we filmed the last episode. It was really hard for me to choose, the thing I wanted to talk about. I think I'm going to chat about a samurai film that I watched, Blade of the Immortal by Takeshi Miike. He's done loads of stuff, probably best known for some Audition.
Is it something because he directs over 100 films?
Itchy the
It's a
Killer, that's
Killer,
Miike.
13 Assassins, and it's Blade of the Immortal was actually his 100th directorial effort. I think a lot of people say it's his 100th film. I don't think it's his 100th film. I think it's his 100th.
Yes, he does a lot of work on shorts.
He does a lot of
and
shorts and other bits and pieces.
compilations and things.
Wow, what a film! It's something like 2.5 hours. It's quite long. It's quite epic, but it's a really stylish, unconventional samurai sort of modern classic. Based on a novel, or I think it might be a graphic novel or comic, by, hang on, Rob's good at this, by
Hiroaki Samura.
Hiroaki Samura.
Well
Yeah,
done, Rob.
yeah.
There's 2 weeks in Japan.
the concept is, I mean, if anyone tracks this down, just watch the first 10-20 minutes. the opening scene is probably the greatest opening scene I've seen in the past 5
Wow.
years, and that is, it's really incredible. The concept is, after a legendary battle at the start of the film, this samurai is cursed with the gift of immortality. He gets these bloodworms
Is
put
it better
inside
than
him.
Highlander?
Yeah, I mean,
Same thing,
better as
same
in
concept?
better as in a better film, but not better as in I love
Fun.
it more. But yeah, after this legendary battle, he's cursed with immortality, and it cuts to a little bit later.
Sean
And then
Connery.
it's almost like Leon, but with samurai. This little girl's wronged,
Okay.
and
If there's
she
one
goes
thing
to
Leon
this
needed.
assassin.
Yeah.
Yeah,
With
she
the
goes
film,
to
I'll
this
be happy to
assassin
see
to
it too now.
help seek vengeance, and it's bloody, it's stylish, it's weird, it's fantastic.
Sounds good.
So I definitely
I
recommend
like Mika. I think Mika is
Blade of the Immortal.
fascinating to watch his
And
films.
I mean, my brother picked me up. It was my birthday in January. And
Happy birthday.
I picked up. He picked me up the Arrow release, the Steelbook, and it's absolutely beautiful. And the release was great. So we sat and watched that, and can't recommend it highly enough. So Blade of the Immortal is my shout for this week.
Seems like a good
show.
pairing, Mike and Samurai.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, 13 Assassins was better.
Okay.
I'll be
There's
honest.
some that
Like,
just
if
don't
anyone's seen
always
13
work,
Assassins, that is an incredible film as well. But yeah, Takashi Miike, Samurai. We need to do more Samurai stuff.
Yeah, I
here,
think- Bit of an embarrassment for Luke, but you've not seen Seven Samurai, have you?
Oh my god,
Which
why
I
would you
think
do
could
that?
be a really good one.
WT.
Why would you do that to me?
Calling him out on the podcast.
Oh my god, well, Sam's a virgin.
So my wife, my baby, just walked past. Don't know who she is. Before I jumped in, actually, Luke gave us a perfect jumping off point too. One of our members kept it very secret that he's actually his birthday today. And I think we need to call out Alex on the fact that he is now 31 today on this podcast.
Happy birthday!
Happy
Alex.
birthday, Alex!
Yeah.
It's David's birthday on a podcast.
We didn't forget, because Alex, it really sadly, kind of came in and bought himself some cakes this morning.
I've got some birthday
Yeah,
donuts,
we had remembered,
guys.
we'll put you a little present.
Why did you buy us donuts? Like,
It's a traditional birthday donut. The gift I thought would be quite fitting for Alex, because based on where we're going to go with my film choice in a moment, I bought Alex a desktop duck shoot for
oh
work.
wow!
Shooting ducks.
I can use this to shoot people at work. Actually.
You love your work colleagues, you can play with them.
Yeah.
You didn't have to buy your own cakes. We
Oh.
bought you cake.
Oh, quack you very
And-
much.
And some
I'm re-gifting
sliced
you.
beetroot.
I love beetroot.
Alex loves beetroot, everybody. So
You're
so,
also getting a
sliced beetroot.
re-gifted Cute Kittens calendar for your desk at work as well.
Oh, guys.
I've just learned what Alex does for a living. Didn't know that for a long
And
time.
there you go. I've got you a nice film-related gift here as well.
Guys, I literally thought you guys had no idea. Unless you all coincidentally have presents.
Isn't that really sweet? I felt really bad because when we walked in, we're like, it's my birthday, and we were so dismissive. We're like, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. Thanks,
Cool.
guys. Shit.
Yeah.
Cool.
Are you gonna open your gift?
Yeah, I'll open your gift as well. Yeah.
You don't care about it.
No,
You-
this
you-
is
you-
an
you-
audio
you stare at
podcast.
know.
Keep the
Here's
audio
a
going.
calendar.
There needs to be some audio commentary. Alex is
Russell,
opening a
Russell,
gift.
Russell.
BMF wallet. Cool, man.
There you go. So that wallet, you can put all the money that we're making from this podcast in there.
And if we do get
It's got
robbed in a
space.
diner, it'll be easy to find. You can get
Yeah.
money to get
The
to.
quote's actually inside from Pulp Fiction.
Be cool, bitch, be
Yeah.
cool!
The quote. Yeah.
Awesome.
So yeah, happy birthday, Alex.
Thank you very much. We'll take
30...
31.
I know I look 39, but I'm only 31.
31?
I've got, you know, I look like I've been walked over by a duck, but, you know. But we'll take pictures of these and upload them to Instagram. You know?
Yeah.
Cool.
So yeah, if you want to
Thanks,
send Alex happy birthday, he loves cash.
guys. Yeah.
Just make the checks out to cash.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Or
make
Sam
the
Clare.
check out to Luke at HS Movies. I'll make sure he sees some of it.
So yeah, my turn to nominate a film. I think it's one that most of us have heard of because it was an Oscar winner. But I'm going to start with Free Solo, which was the Oscar-winning Best Documentary.
Is it the sequel to Solo?
It's the sequel to Solo. Getting out of the prison.
It's
at the end.
it's the sequel to Solo and Free Willy, I think.
Oh, yeah.
It's when Han Solo has to free a space whale.
It's the alternate cut where Free Willy jumps over the border, but he jumps a bit too high, enters Earth's orbit, and finds himself in
The Falcon.
the mines of Kessel.
Common problem.
Common problem with whales. That's
It's happening
why
all the time now. It's more and more common.
whales are not dying out. They're just going too high. So yeah, it's about a climber called Alex Honnold, who arguably is one of the best climbers in the world today. He's tackling a free solo, which I don't know if you guys know what a free solo is. essentially it's climbing a mountain without any kind of ropes or any support.
Like Tom Cruise in Mission Impossible.
Basically, he's doing a Tom Cruise in Mission Impossible 2.
Yeah.
Tom Cruise started it, and he's the real pioneer of it. Probably, so Alex Honnold's second best in the world to Tom Cruise.
Does the guy have Limp Bizkit blasted in his ear the whole time?
Constantly.
And does the documentary make excessive use of Limp Bizkit? I hope so.
It's directed by John Woo, so...
Oh, okay. Is it really directed by John Woo? The documentary? Oh my god, that would have been amazing!
I can't remember his name. It's directed by a fellow climber, which is the reason why it's so good, is that they are literally hanging off El Capitan, which is a 3,000 foot straight climb in Yosemite. And it is like a marble, it's almost like a marble granite rock that's really slippy, really perfect. And it just seems impossible when you see what he's doing.
Yeah.
But the film doesn't shy away from the fact that at any moment he could die. And you see the crew having to live with, can we live with this? Can we deal with this? The fact that our climber could die at any moment on this climb, and we're having to kind of deal with it, really. It's wonderful, it's fantastic.
Is it better than Vertical Limit?
That's... I mean, it's no cliffhanger,
Yeah.
you know, but it's just a great film. It's beautifully shot. It really makes you think about life and death and...
Is this the film that won the Best Documentary?
Best
the
Documentary,
Academy Awards?
yeah.
Okay.
That's one that it deserves it. It's rare that Oscars really do anything that I care about, but it's actually, you know, apart from maybe Spider-Verse, it deserved it. It's a great film. You need to check it out, really.
Yeah, I've seen it advertised, actually.
Yeah, it's not one to go and stream or do anything dodgy, but I'll try and get you some nice HD
Is
copy.
it not coming to Netflix or...?
I think it is being bought by
Okay.
Netflix, yeah, so you should better get it Ultra HD on
Well, that's looking
Netflix.
into it. Yeah, definitely. That
Yeah,
sounds
it's-
very interesting.
it's a really
I'm
good
just
watch.
looking.
And
I'm,
he's
look,
just
I'm looking at the
fascinating.
photo of the guy now with his climbing hands. They look like talons. They kind of go to points. So, yeah, very interesting.
You see him do several other free solos, and the reason that he's so good is that he's methodical.
Yeah.
He literally spent months plotting out every section of the climb and tackling the hardest parts and working out, like a dance, exactly what move he had to do when. And then he had to do all that within about 3.5 hours.
Yeah.
This is a climb, though, that the initial first climbs took around 47, 48 days of returning and climbing up to their pitch and climbing again with ropes.
I
That's how
imagine.
hard this climb
Does it
is.
give you the same heart in your mouth sensation of watching like Man on Wire?
It
when
does,
you,
absolutely.
When you
yeah.
just like.
There's a moment-
Am I about to watch a man die?
There's a bit he does called the karate kick, and he literally has to lean from one hold to another and just let his body fall into the next hold. And he's maybe 2,000 feet up at that moment with no ropes. It's
man.
amazing.
I hope he was wearing a nappy.
It's honestly, there's a guy on the ground floor with a telescopic lens just filming him, and he keeps just going, no, you can't.
Yeah.
And it's great because any time he does something dangerous, they cut to him. It's kind of like cutting to Alex for a moment. Be like, no. But because these people care about him, they've been following him for months, and he could die any second. It's great. I really recommend it.
Oh, awesome. Yeah. So good recommendations, guys.
So it's
I wanna
Umbrella
watch-
Academy.
I want to watch everything.
It's
Can you
Can you forgive me if you got to like that one, Luke?
Blade of the Immortal.
And Free Solo.
You're invited to my party.
Find out how good you are.
Eat one lousy foot, they call you a cannibal.
Across the sea of stars lies another world, a world almost exactly like ours. This is where he lives. He's 27 years old, single but searching. Favorite sports, windsurfing and Aikido. Favorite pastimes, cigars and sex. He has everything except fulfillment. Howard the Duck.
So, let's duck into the main course for today. I'm next in the pecking order to choose the film. And as you no doubt already know, I've chosen a film I hope will whack you up. Thank you. Howard the Duck. So, who has seen Howard the Duck? Who's seen it? Alex, did you see it before?
I hadn't seen it before. I'd always been called Howard the Duck because my middle name's Howard, but I never got around to watching it, mainly because of scars, you know. But yeah, I hadn't seen it until the last week or so.
Luke?
It was one of my favourite films as a kid. I think I taped it and watched it a million times, which is really weird though because as I got older, I heard that everyone hated it. So I haven't watched it probably in about 20 years because I was afraid of revisiting it and it being bad.
I'm exactly the same.
Because I absolutely adored it when I was a kid. So it was almost like a first rewatch. But then there were also bits that I vividly remembered.
Yeah, I really remember the concert sequences and the flying sequence, but other bits are just totally inappropriate for kids. I think I must have seen like a cut down version. I'm sure I watched it in the daytime on TV, so they must have done like a TV edit for it.
Yeah.
Rob?
I know I'd definitely seen it as a kid, but rewatching it recently, I didn't remember any of it.
Yeah.
Whether it was because of the themes just going over my head as a kid.
I think so. I think it's an adult film.
We were
isn't
just
it? It's not a
watching
kid's film.
a cool walking, talking duck.
Yeah. So, what are your thoughts on it, Alex? Having seen it for the first time, what was your kind of gut reaction to it?
Well, I mean, I had a gut reaction, but that gut reaction was based on the fact that I thought it was going to be awful. So I went in with like super low opinion and super low expectations. But I actually really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed watching it, and like I never got bored at all during the film. And I thought it was a really easy, good watch.
I think it's got
and
tight
quite funny.
pacing. I think the scenes flow.
Yeah.
The characters kind of work in a strange way. Yeah.
And it, like if you can accept that there's duck puns and not use that as a criticism point, I think you can really. I think you can really enjoy them.
I don't think it's Batman and Robin, Mr. Freeze bad when it comes to
No.
puns. I don't think it's that
That's
bad.
painful, isn't it?
But there are some puns. Like you say it flows, I would say the opposite. I would say every point where you think it's going to go, it takes a really weird turn and just does the opposite of what you think is going to happen.
Because of that, it's got pace though.
Which is what I think keeps it interesting. It's not an amazing film as in
no, not at all.
As in this is a classic, brilliant, well-made piece of cinema. But it's great in the terms of this is an absurd, what the hell am I watching type of film.
Stupid fun.
Yeah.
But it is
Very
fun.
unusual.
It is fun.
Yeah,
That's the
there were
important thing.
moments in the film where I did start to lose interest. I do think they could have cut a good half an hour out of the film in places.
Yeah.
An hour and 50 of...
Yeah, there's a few moments when they...
Is it an hour and 50?
An hour and 50.
Oh wow,
Wow.
that's a bit long.
To be fair though, I don't think it felt that long.
Yeah, for me, it felt like a short film, which is, I guess, why we were a little bit surprised at how long it is, maybe.
Okay.
Should we summarise the film for anyone who hasn't seen it?
Well, before you do that, I've actually got a few reviews from online. I went and had a look at Amazon and Google and saw what other people thought of the film. Give you a bit of a taste of, something beyond our opinion. So here's some of the best ones. We had Evan Reed, who says,
Shout out to Evan.
I love this movie because me, myself, is a quack-free master and I love a smoking duck. 11 out of 10 smoking duck. So that's Evan Reed's take
Thanks,
on Howard the Duck. We've got Nermal George, who says, I wouldn't recommend this movie. The narration and its incorporation of props and symbolism of kind of cartoonish on the basic level, it will leave you duller and bored.
Just like his name.
So Nermal George didn't enjoy it because of the symbolism. We've got Kayla Howard. Any relation, Alexander Howard?
Not that I know of, but never say never.
Drawn
Who tells us, the duck is so weird, he eats kids and poops them out. My son that is 9 years old is so scarred, I burned down his treehouse and blamed it on Howard the Duck. He can't sleep anymore.
This is a mum whose Amazon account has been hacked by her child.
We've got Charles Walker, who says, oh, this was only 3 weeks ago as well, this review. One of my favourite childhood movies, and the folks that dislike it, well, you must be boring.
Fair point.
And our final review was Gary Watson, who said, didn't work, was not compatible to the DVD. So a nice spread of opinions there.
Who else picturing a man like forcibly wedging a VHS into a DVD?
a nice spread of reviews there to sort of see what other people think, but on the whole, mixed response, would we say?
Mm.
Yeah.
Rather the film synopsis, so we can kind of try and place that in some kind of sense.
For any of you that might not have seen it yet, it's about a sarcastic humanoid duck that is pulled from his home world to Earth, where he must stop a hellish alien invasion with the help of a nerdy scientist and a cute, struggling female rock singer who fancies him.
Great film synopsis. Like I've watched that. I've never heard of the film. Yeah.
I think it's a bit overdone, that plot.
Yeah.
Can you imagine the Universal thinking, we've got the director of Star Wars offering to produce. He's coming to us with this incredible film offer. What is it, George? What have you got for us?
Yeah.
We've got a humanoid duck.
We've had Star Wars, we've had Indiana Jones. What's next, George?
They passed up on Indiana Jones, didn't they? And they were gutted. But they've missed out on that, because Paramount won that one, as you were saying before.
Yeah.
And they got Howard the Duck. They must have been a little bit shocked when they sort of saw the rushes coming through each week from it.
Yeah.
And with ILM on the effects, it's just a win-win in their picture, isn't it, really? So, it's a 1986 film. For Leah Thompson, the year after Back to the Future. She was on clearly a surefire hit series of films. But what else was coming out in 1986? Rob, you got some of the top hits?
Yeah, it was a relatively strong year for film. Platoon,
Yes, it's good.
Platoon dominated the Oscars that
Probably my favourite Vietnam movie.
Yeah.
year. Aliens.
Oh, great film.
So
One of my favourites.
you'd think
Sigourney
people would
Weaver.
have been excited
Great
for the
sequel.
follow-up. Top Gun. The Fly. Highlander. Big Trouble in Little China.
Labyrinth.
Labyrinth. It was a
Yeah.
strong year for film.
And also an odd year, isn't it?
It was quite a weird mix of films.
Yeah.
Little Shop of Horrors, Critters.
There were some small films, some big films, some
Flight of the
classics.
Navigator.
Flight of the Navigator.
Classic.
So,
Yeah.
quick challenge for you then.
Hmm.
Want to estimate or guess the top 3 films that year?
Aliens.
Top 3 as in highest gross.
Highest grossing, 1 to 3.
The quiz comes at the end, Sam. What's going on?
This is
Bonus quiz.
This is bonus quiz.
Wow.
Fast one or
I don't know. Would it be Aliens?
Aliens. I'd say Aliens. The Fly.
I don't think The Fly.
It's a small cult movie. We're looking at films. Okay, the top one here grossed
Short
170.
Circuit.
The top film here grossed 176 million domestic. Opened in 1,500 theatres.
Crocodile Dundee.
Crocodile Dundee is number 2.
Oh. Platoon.
Platoon is number 3.
Is Aliens not number 1?
Aliens is number 7.
What the WTF?
Was it?
First Viewer.
Ferris Bueller's number 10. You've missed the biggest film on that list.
Ghost. No.
Think commercial success. Don't think great movie.
Top
Think
Gun?
Top Gun.
Top Gun?
Top Gun number 1.
Jeez.
Top Gun's
Where
number
about?
1. So yeah,
Yeah.
Top Gun was the top grossing film. It's Crocodile Dundee, Platoon, Karate Kid Part 4, Star Trek
Part
4, The
4?
Voyage Home.
You can't make up films. People rely on this.
Karate Kid
film
Part
knowledge.
2, Karate Kid Part 2, and then Star Trek 4, The Voyage Home was number
Okay.
5.
And Howard the Duck was number 6.
Howard the Duck was, I'm scrolling down the list, I'm still scrolling, number 53 that year.
That's
Wow.
not bad.
Didn't even make the top 50 though, Howard.
I don't know.
There were only 53 films released
Michael-
in 2006, unfortunately.
Big question I've got, I don't understand why it flopped so bad, because it's got effects, it's fun, it's silly. I think it should have done better than that. I mean, it was beaten by Delta Force, it was beaten by
I mean,
films
I
I've
mean,
never
one of the things
heard
to
of.
remember, like putting it in context of the time, DC had a couple of hits with superhero films with Superman. Is it 1 to 3? It'd
It was beaten by Cobra.
Stallone's Cobra.
Stallone's Cobra.
But Marvel, this was the very first. I know it seems like a weird fact. It was the very first feature-length Marvel film.
Yeah.
I mean, audiences
He's
at
the
that
true
point,
first Avenger, isn't
yeah,
he? Captain America,
it wasn't the world that we live in now, where we've got 15 superhero films coming out every year.
Yeah.
It was an unusual thing. So the first trailblazer when it came to Marvel was our little
Animatronic
plucky duck, who
And it wasn't a Marvel film that you could take kids to.
it wasn't a Marvel film
No.
you could take kids to.
I think that was the miss.
Yeah, well, I think they were in the grey area because I think they sort of eased off the ill-dealt nature of Howard the Duck, didn't they? They eased it down to a more sort of palatable version of Howard the Duck. So that annoyed the Howard the Duck fans. But then they didn't ease
the
it down
army
enough.
of Howard the Duck.
the army of Howard. Well, I mean,
Yeah.
you need that core to bring the money in, don't you? Like to set the base. But then they didn't.
It was a hugely popular comic book series. It was really doing well.
Yeah,
It was a
exactly.
well-known entity.
Exactly. So if you piss off those Howard the Duck fans, you're not going to make as much money as maybe what you want to. But they didn't dumb it down enough for kids because I mean it had duck boobs in it, so you couldn't take kids to watch it anyway. So from my point of view, there was almost no point in. They should have just gone full R-rated, full adult content
Yeah, it's
kind of thing.
PG-13 in America, which basically is kind of like more of a 15 for us. It's kind of saying there's going to be some adult content. We warn you.
I mean, but bear in mind that wasn't a surefire thing even as far as 2 or 3 years ago. Deadpool, you know,
It was a risk.
established that it was a risk.
Yeah.
An R-rated superhero comedy 5 years ago was a gamble.
Yeah.
So in 1986, that was a no.
PG-13
That was a no way.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. It was George Lucas, wasn't it? Yeah, he could do what he was probably at a point where if he really
felt
wanted
he could do
to,
what he wanted. I think.
yeah, if he could have done what he wanted. If I was George Lucas, which I'm not, which I'm kind of glad I'm not.
You sure?
Well, I don't know actually. He's he's doing all right, isn't he? But like, I would have just gone full R-rated, full adult content, full,
That's my biggest
Yeah,
criticism
yeah.
with it. He's not Howard the Duck. He's nothing like the comic book Howard. He's like a chiseled, kind of grizzled, grumpy guy. Howard's kind of a bit too cute here. I think they should have made him a bit
Yeah,
older.
they didn't know who the
bit
audience was, did
grumpier.
they? They were going for whole family appeal. I think the vibe they were going for was, Shrek, where you've got an appeal for children, which is, colourful characters, exciting world, but then you've got very smartly written jokes that go over the children's head and entertain the families as well.
Yeah.
They were going for that, but it hadn't been done.
They're perfected it now.
I kind of respect the fact that it was trying to trailblaze that idea, but it was the wrong time, and it was the first one to try and...
Well, I mean, as soon as they had duck boobs in it.
Yeah, I think...
Are we going to discuss... right, are we going to discuss the duck boobs before we carry on? Let's address the elephant in the room.
The elephant in the room
which
that's
is
reading a
which is
copy
duck
of...
boobs.
yeah.
Well, there was the woman in the bath, wasn't there? As well?
Which they cut back to twice.
For those
There's
of
like
you who
a
haven't seen
gratuitous,
it,
unnecessary second cut.
within 5 minutes of this film, you see Howard in his duck world, which, actually, can I just say, I wish the whole film took place in his duck world.
Why couldn't Leah Thompson get
The
catapulted?
first 5 minutes, my absolute favourite of the film.
Yeah, the fish out of water would work better in reverse.
You see him looking at a centre page spread from Play Duck with some duck boobs, and you also see a lady in the bath.
It's when he's catapulted with his chair through the wall
through
into
the
her
wall.
bathroom,
And she's not phased.
and the camera cuts back again just to make sure you're seeing them.
I'm such a lucky girl in love.
Did you catch those?
I
again.
wanted to know if she was all right. Like, he just flowing through her.
She was busy reading a book or something. She had stuff to do.
Can I just ask something? Right. Okay. Duck boobs make no sense.
Ducks don't have boobs, yeah.
Boobs are for mammals, and let's think about Let's get let's think logically here. Boobs are for breastfeeding. Ducks have beaks.
Well, in this world, as we saw,
So
Tim Robbins' imagined world of the duck and the kind of ancestry, they shared a common ancestor, which was a duck, whereas we shared a common ancestor that was an ape-like creature.
yeah.
And at some point, that duck decided to be a mammal rather than... it makes no sense.
It's crossbreeding, maybe. Maybe there's a bit of crossbreeding between the.
It makes no sense that way.
Between the species. I don't know, man.
And yeah, he's lost his ability to fly. So he said, "Do you think I'm going to fly? I'm a duck."
And he can't swim.
Yeah, he can't swim.
Yeah. Okay.
So we approve of the duck boobs. Is that
I don't
is that
understand the
consensus?
choice in a film that they kind of still target at kids. It just seems so...
Especially so early in the film.
So early,
Yeah.
so weird.
Oh well.
If you hinted at it, like the posters for some of the movies, which was Indiana Jones and the... Oh, what was the name of that one there? I'll have to insert this later. There were just some terrible puns, aren't they, in the movie posters.
I think that's what worked. Like I said, I think the
Splash dance
opening
instead of,
scene that
flash
we've got
dance.
with the duck world and the duck versions of things, absolutely brilliant. I think, am I right in thinking in the comics, in that world they've got their very own Doctor Strange and
He's
their
got-
own versions of Marvel
He's
heroes.
literally got an Iron Man... There's an issue where Howard's got an Iron Man suit.
Okay.
The Iron Duck.
The Iron Duck.
Yeah, the crossover. So it's Breeders of the Lost Ark, by the way.
Breeders of the Lost
Which,
Ark.
again, doesn't make a lot of sense.
It makes as much sense as Alex's pun from the start of the podcast. just saying the word duck with anything does not make it a pun.
Yeah. Are you a West Midlands-based film fan? A real film fan? Really? Do you find the multiplexes frustrating? Too expensive? Maybe a little too impersonal? Do they never show the art house, international or independent films you're craving? Have you, like us, been to a screening in a major chain we cannot for legal reasons name, let's call it Filmy World, and witnessed a literal riot during a film? There must be a better way. Luckily, Wolverhampton is home to the hidden gem that is Lighthouse Cinema. Central location, easy walk to the bus, train or tram, 2 intimate screens, gallery spaces, a cosy cafe bar, and get this, 0 riots. That's right, 0. Go to light-house.co.uk to find out more. But this film in general is just a treasure trove of interesting facts and trivia. The minute you start reading into it, there's so many things that just happened on set or happened around the creation of this. I want to jump in with just bizarre things related to Howard the Duck.
Just a very brief, interesting fact that before they'd even started filming, they had to sit down for several meetings with Disney representatives and lawyers.
And pitch this. Oh, yeah.
And they had to make sure that Howard didn't too closely resemble Donald Duck, because this is obviously pre-Disney owning Marvel days. So this is why Howard wears trousers.
Yeah.
That was the main contrast between him and Donald.
I think Steve Gerber, the creator, I think he still did some comic book strips after that ruling where Howard just takes his pants off and just walks away.
With that ruling, they also changed the shape of his forehead and beak because he did look a lot like Donald Duck.
Yeah, he did look. I think Steve Gerber.
To be fair, Donald Duck looks like a duck. How the Duck looks like a duck. I mean, your source material.
It's a duck.
That's like Superman suing, I don't know, Captain America and saying, "Well, you've used a chin that looks quite like a dad."
Well, Marvel was so upset by this, they decided to go become insanely successful and just. Sorry, Disney got so successful they just purchased Marvel. Marvel have you?
And they put trousers
all because
on
of Howard the Duck.
Oh, does that mean we'll get our dream pantsless Howard? And if there's duck boobs,
is
that
that the
implies
dream?
there's something else going on down below each
There has to be something, right?
Yeah?
Like, right? I don't know how did ducks...
Does it pop out?
maybe it comes out when it's ready? Or, I don't know.
No, don't just have a
Any
cloaca.
duck experts out there, please pop us an email with how ducks breathe.
If you could give us a
Duck-
scientifically accurate drawing of Howard, that'd be very suitable for us.
And if duck boobs would actually work with a bill, would you be able to breastfeed using a beak?
Maybe they weren't boobs. Maybe it was just rubbing or something, and it was just a rash.
Bee stings.
Yeah. Bee stings. We keep coming back to the duck boobs. Sorry.
Anything you throw out there for Howard?
Fact-wise, one of the things I thought was really interesting was, I mean, we were saying how Howard the Duck did not make as much money as I think everyone involved thought it would, but it was one of those sort of serendipitous events that led to the creation of Pixar. I mean, the way it went was Howard the Duck was not the financial hit it should have been, which meant that George Lucas had to sort of downsize some of his departments at LucasArts, and I think he had to get rid of the animation department. What was that called? Anyone know?
Graphics Group.
Graphics Group. And was it Steve Jobs he sold it to? I think.
When he lost his job.
Steve Jobs at Apple.
Oh, okay, yeah. So it was a team of animators and visual effects artists, and they went on to form Pixar. So it's really interesting that without this film failing, we wouldn't have Pixar as we know it.
Yeah.
It's a very interesting kind of...
So
it's worked out for us that we get both.
So Toy Story owes its lot to Howard.
I was thinking planes, to be honest. That's Pixar movie.
Yeah, planes. We love that.
But yeah, talking about not making its money back. So, film's 37 million budget, which I think, as you mentioned earlier, Alex, is 5 million more than Return of the Jedi. And you can see, obviously, Return of the Jedi. It's not as spectacular, is it? It's not as interesting.
Return of the Jedi.
It's just not as good visually as it's Howard the Duck.
I don't know. I enjoyed it when I was a kid, but less so as I've grown up.
But yeah, when I was doing some research, the film only made $900,000 more than it costs to actually make it.
Profit's profit.
Profit's profit. 900,000 after a long time of all the.
And then you've got to tax that profit.
So hang on, what's going on? You just said that Howard the Duck costs more to make than
Return of
the Jedi.
Like $5 million, yeah.
What?
Yeah, you look at the visuals
insane.
and think space battles, Forest Moon of Endor, incredible special. Where's the money go? Where's that money gone?
George Lucas must have had a big truck, or maybe Howard really liked Skittles or something.
What do you mean he drove the money off in a truck?
Yeah.
Skywalker Ranch was not solvent, as you were saying, Gabe.
Yeah.
So the money had to go somewhere.
Yeah. I mean, with Howard the Duck, originally, I think when it was conceived as a movie, it was originally meant to be an animated feature.
Yeah.
The idea of a walking, talking sort of anthropomorphic duck. It doesn't make sense in a live action, sense. It's too big they didn't have CGI as we know.
I guess the equivalent would be if Spider-Verse happened and they said, let's just make that in real life.
Yeah.
And you had a little character playing Spider-Ham.
Yeah. And it just wouldn't have worked. But I mean, part of George Lucas taking it on was, ILM can do this. And one of the strongest things in this film is actually the visual effects. I was really impressed with quite a number of things. The duck suit itself.
I loved it.
I thought it was good. I liked it.
Incredibly expressive.
Yeah.
You don't question that it's a little walking, talking duck.
It feels real.
It feels real.
Yeah.
He's got very creepy eyes. I'm sorry. We've got this Momo thing going around at the moment. I think Ed the Duck. Ed the Duck.
Ed the Duck.
Wow! Shout out to Ed the Duck.
I think he's retired now.
I think Howard the Duck could, give her a run for money.
The scene where they serve Howard eggs and his face,
Oh,
the
no.
expression on
Yeah.
his face.
Yeah,
I felt like, I felt that expression. I felt the
Yeah.
fear of eating your own.
No.
He was in Joseph Bologna's situation right there, wasn't he? Like,
Nightmare Fuel. I'm amazed that I love this film so much because it was a bit creepy. My favourite part of this entire film, skipping to the third act, was some of the stop motion
On our terrible
creature
villain.
effect on our villain, the Dark Overlord.
Great name
Which
for
we'll
villain.
come to the Dark Overlord and his motivations in a bit, I think. But Phil, for those of you who are not aware, Phil Tippett was the animator who created and designed that sequence with the stop motion villain. This was stop motion at its very finest. I think if you were to show a modern audience now, they actually wouldn't know how it was made without CGI because it's so fluid. I couldn't believe how good and how well
the
it
bits that
is.
shocked me, because we watched some behind the scenes videos which we can link to on this podcast, is the scenes of Howard in his little car attacking the.
Yeah.
They were stop motion as well.
Some of them are stop motion
Yeah,
as well.
and I just assumed
Yeah.
that was
Yeah.
spliced together with real
Fluid.
footage.
Phil Tippett had a history of working with George Lucas and ILM. He did some of the animation sequences in Empire Strikes
He did
Back
the chess
with
game.
the Attack Walkers and the Tauntauns.
Was he the chess game in?
I think he might have worked
as well.
on the chess game. He went on to do Ed 209 in RoboCop and design those sequences. And he worked on a couple of the RoboCop film. RoboCop 2 has got an
the stop motion
incredible
there.
stop motion effect in there. And I think this and the end of RoboCop 2, some of the best stop motion work ever done. I mean, Ray Harryhausen and the early animators pioneered it, but I think Phil Tippett perfected it, and it's a shame that it's a dead art form. I understand why, but there's just something so incredible.
The time constraints, but it
amazing.
feels so much more real, doesn't it?
Yeah,
I think even the best CGI. I mean, Thanos is incredible,
yeah,
but you can still sense that this because it's physically it's not
that
there. Is it?
rubbery effect.
There's something there, but the fact that something's there,
That's a
the
quality
light
to
hits
it.
it in just the perfect way. It's the
There's a
uncanny
charm
valley
to
doesn't
stop
exist, does
motion
it?
as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is timeless, isn't it? Like
Yeah.
like when you watch these films back, like you just
Yeah.
you accept you're watching stop motion. You can really enjoy. it
Nightmare
from
Before
that
Christmas.
perspective.
It's not
Yeah.
particularly clean in many places. It's beautiful, but
Yeah, when you
watch
see it
that.
compared to modern stop
the Isle
motion,
of Dogs and things, but it's still it's timeless because it's stop motion.
yeah,
It's fine.
it's amazing how far it's come as a medium.
Sticking with the effects, I think I'll talk a bit more about Howard. I think he's
Yeah.
a fascinating character the way they put him together. Do you know much about how the suit was created and things like that? Have you read anything about those?
Not much, no.
So the original plan was that a child would play Howard, but they quickly realised that actually there was going to be so much involved. It was so claustrophobic. It was almost like torture being in the suit.
Yeah.
So they had to find essentially a little person to play the role.
Also, it's
Again.
not right to expose a child to duck boobs.
It's not. So yeah, it was Ed Gale, who was an actor who played the role.
He played Chucky, didn't he? I think.
Yeah, and played Chucky. But actually, initially he was deemed too tall, but they realised that just the stunts wouldn't work with a child, it was just cruel. But it's okay to punish an adult actor, just torture them as much as you like. But he's since had permanent, semi-permanent problems with his hands,
Yeah.
since he had his fingers wedged into the three-pointed duck hands.
Oh no.
He said it was hot, it was claustrophobic, he hated every moment of being inside the duck suit in many cases, really. And so hats off to Ed Gale, really.
So Ed Gale's haunted by Howard the Duck.
Yeah, Ed Gale.
What's funny about that? You say he was too tall. There's scenes in the film where our plucky hero gets into some scraps with Quack Fu,
Yeah.
and when he fights, you can see so clearly that they change from Ed Gale to obviously another performer who's able to jump around and kick and fight.
Yeah,
and
in a
his
much bigger
legs
suit.
are suddenly much longer from scene to scene. It's Howard's. I keep calling him Ed the Duck. Ed Gale, Howard the Duck.
I think that's one of my favourite scenes in the bar when he's watching the Cherry Bomb Band perform, and then the manager's like, "I'll see you later, Beverly," you know, and like so having a cigar in his mouth or whatever, and then Howard just goes and
Those
that
scenes.
whole interaction where like
The film's
between him
kind
and the
of.
manager.
That's what, I love
Yeah.
the interspersed story. It feels like you're watching Showgirls.
Yeah.
Meets a kids movie.
So what's interesting about that is Leah Thompson, who is the first to meet Howard the Duck and not be scared by him or kick him around or chuck him about. She is in a band that has a bit of a dodgy manager who's taking their money. He kind
Exploiting
of
them.
he's exploiting them. He's been a bit seedy with them. So Howard the Duck gallantly says, give me the girls' money. You're not their manager anymore. But what's really funny about it is after that's resolved and he decides that Howard's the manager, Howard goes into the back room where all the girls are, and he becomes the senior manager. it's like he wants to become their new pimp.
You got to make a living, man. You got to make. It's a human world. He's a duck in a human
It's
world.
like, I don't want you to exploit them. I want to exploit them.
But at that point in the film, when all that's happening, it's just it's like a small contained film, isn't it? At that point, kind of thing. Like the big bad guy hasn't showed up. Nothing's really happened. It's just like
there's a good hour
yeah.
of this film where it's literally just a duck out of water,
Yeah.
a duck out of water story. Before there's any kind of villain or any kind of, should we talk about that? So from the start of the film, what happened and how he gets to Earth.
Yeah,
and because one of the things
there's
I
a lot
think
of
is really
fair sex
interesting
actors, aren't there, in this film?
is the human's response, the inconsistent response to a walking, talking duck.
Yeah, it's very strange. It's not consistent.
I'd say
at all.
50% of people are terrified at the sight of this gigantic duck.
Yeah.
And then the other 50% are just like, great costume.
Howard, wait!
Haha, typical hairless ape.
It's so lifelike and realistic.
Bug off.
Fantastic.
Like,
Yeah.
I think at the
costume,
beginning
kid.
there's a scene where the bouncers are like, what are you doing in here? You're a kid at a bar. So he decides to throw him into the alleyway. You're a child, so I'm going to throw you into an alleyway, like 10 feet.
Outside a pretty seedy. I mean, literally there is like wire mesh across the stage to keep the band safe. It's that dodgy in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he's chucked out. We've got the Satan Sluts biker gang,
Yeah.
who knock him about a little bit. We've got the muggers who try and
We got
take advantage of Leah
Is
Thompson.
it the sushi kitchen people try and cook him?
Yeah. So if he's not eaten, or
Let's put in a borderline racist Chinese joke. They see a duck, they can eat that duck.
And then you've got Leah Thompson, who gets very quickly turned on by a duck.
Yeah.
it's very unusual.
You know what? I'm not gonna lie. I
I
was really enjoying that scene where she was coming on to him because I was like, "Where's this going? Eh? Where's this
So
going?"
I saw that as all cheeky interplay. I thought it was just
I
all
did.
on
I
the
thought
duck
it was
because
going somewhere.
When
man.
Timmy Robbins walks in, it's clearly like an innocent moment been misconstrued.
I don't know.
I think that scene's
I-
misremembered, really.
Because the way Howard, to me, was introduced was like, he's just a duck who loves just getting with other ducks, having duck time.
He did say something like, I've
sexy duck
started to
time.
enjoy your Earth females.
Yeah. And so, like, he starts strong, but then, like, his eggs just drop, don't they? Like, and he just can't handle the sex.
I'm joking.
Yeah. He just puts, like, the covers over his head. He's like, no, I don't want to have sex anymore. But she just keeps going for it, and you think, like, she's gonna rape him. She's gonna rape a duck.
It's a really odd scene, isn't it? To put in.
I feel like it's preempted modern day by switching those gender roles, and it really made me think about it.
Yeah.
It's a very current.
Are we
feminist
saying that
That's a
Howard the
stretch.
Duck is a very early #MeToo candidate? Okay.
Potentially.
works both ways. Did
Yeah.
forget that?
Yeah.
I mean, he's a good statesman. I mean, he's taken on causes before, hasn't he? I mean, he's had votes to be president and stuff.
Yeah, he
hasn't
ran for
Yeah.
president at one point, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, in one storyline, Howard travels to New York City with his girlfriend Beverly. He's nominated as the all-night party's candidate for president of the United States. And Marvel sold real campaign buttons for Howard for president.
Yeah. They're worth a lot on eBay. I was looking. I was trying
And apparently,
to buy one.
There's a few. Some people really crossed out whoever they was running that time, wrote Howard the Duck in,
Yeah.
and put some real ballots in with his name.
Yeah. Load of writing
that's-
votes apparently.
Unconfirmed.
Yeah.
Another strange thing about Beverly's first meeting with Howard was how unfazed she was when she was rifling through his wallet and found a little unwrapped duck condom.
It wasn't
Duck duck.
Duck dog.
I saw that. A duck duck.
Just keep it loose.
Do you reckon he just rinses it out and reuses it? Is that why it's loose?
But that's implying that he's
got something.
got something down
he's a
there. That's
player.
adding more to
Plus to Beverly, he was probably like a really cute, interesting, like a pet kind of thing. And then she looks in his wallet and she sees a real person who loves just getting down and ducky.
What annoyed me more about his wallet, he's got cards for like Club Mallard and Blooming Ducks. Like, why is everything in his
I
wallet
know,
have to be named after ducks? We don't go to Human Dales and
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's alternate reality,
like-
though. It's not meant to be, though. It's not like
And it's not called Play Human.
Yeah, it's not called Play.
It's like
Why has everything got a duck pun on it?
The planet they live on is egg-shaped, isn't it, when he gets catapulted up? Would that happen? Surely that would mean that one side would be thrown into catastrophic cold every time it tilts on its
no,
axis.
it's flat Earth, isn't it?
Yeah, you'd think the minute that long end tilts away from the sun, that'd be freezing cold. That'd be like catastrophic ice age.
Inuit ducks.
I know some of us aren't fans of it, but Westeros, perhaps the winters that last forever.
Ah, yeah.
They're on the egg world.
So maybe Game of Thrones is egg-shaped.
I think maybe Game of Thrones is set in the Howard the Duck universe.
It could be, yeah. And then the humans destroy themselves in season 8, and then the ducks take the Earth.
Yeah, it evolved from the ducks. Humans wipe themselves out.
Nailed it.
Nailed it.
Theory. Hashtag theory.
Well, we need to put spoilers before that, I think.
Oh.
One of the things I felt was really interesting about this is watching it in 2019. There was a whole slew of films in the 80s and early 90s of alien or little creature discovered by somebody, and they need to keep them hidden because of scientific experiments. So you've got E.T., Howard the Duck, Alf, things like that. It's like, we've got to keep this secret because evil scientists, all the scientists are evil, and the first thing they'll do is dissect you. And I just thought in 2019 it wouldn't be the same. It would be something more like along the lines of Ted. He would be a celebrity for 5 minutes, and then because humans are just...
He'd be on the Kardashians, wouldn't he?
Yeah, we don't care about stuff like that. We're not amazed by stuff anymore.
He'd be dating Kendall Jenner.
He would just become the most normal thing ever. Everyone would just get used to seeing a duck walking around.
And there'd be a
But
hashtag.
talk about hiding Howard. She hides him once in a blanket up the stairs into the place. After that, she
Just
kind
openly
she just
walks
gives up.
around.
She walks him around. She sits in a diner with him.
Yeah.
She sits and eats a meal with him. She just gives up on hiding him straight away.
I think Tim Robbins, when she introduces him to Tim Robbins, what's his scientist's name in the film?
Yeah,
I just know Tim Robbins. I'm pretty sure he wants to dissect him and stuff. He wants him
he's
to throw
team
into
dude,
the
he's
science
team
world,
dude.
doesn't he? He's using Howard for his career, and he plays this sort of
Well, they find the feather, don't they, after their experiment?
Yeah,
They realise
yeah.
the two things are linked.
But Tim Robbins' character plays this goofy lab assistant. He's meant to be
Phil Blumberg.
yeah, that's it, Blimbit.
Isn't he just a janitor or something? Because
Yeah,
Howard
pretty
gets
minor.
upset
Under the
that...
system, isn't it?
Yeah.
But for me, he's trying to use Howard as his big break. So
Yeah.
So as I watched the film, I don't know why, but I was expecting him to betray Howard at some point and just join forces with the Dark Overlord or something, because I just thought he just wants to get ahead in life.
The way he slowly transforms, it goes from silly voice
Yeah.
to
He's so petty, right?
So the villain of our movie appears when, after an hour of just walking around... Oh, sorry, before we get to that, none of us talked about the hot tub, the duck broth, the
Howard
brothel.
works in a brothel.
So at one point, talking about these weird turns it takes, Howard is forget this, I'm just going to resign myself to living on Earth. I'm going to go get a job. So he goes to a job, what's it called? A job centre.
Yeah, job centre.
He goes to a job centre.
I know about job
And
centres.
this woman who is completely unfazed by him, she's like, I don't care that you dress like a duck or anything, we're going to get you some work. And after he tries to bite her on the arse for some reason, our little hero, he gets a job in a brothel
called Hot Tub Fever.
called Hot Tub Fever, and he's the guy going around chomping on his cigar, giving people fresh towels.
It's really
he's a water expert.
It's like being in a Joel Schumacher movie, isn't it? It's neon everywhere.
People making out,
Good.
running out, slapping each other's asses. And at one point, the manager throws him into a hot tub where people are doing it.
No, wait. I got a better idea. Wait. I can't swim. Whoops, guess I slipped.
Yeah, with the big guys again. And so you can So I think Jeffrey Jones played a blinder. I think he played it brilliantly.
Yeah,
Because I think these Dark Overlords are just...
His transformation was great.
Yeah.
And for me, it really was incredible when that tongue came out.
Yeah.
While they were driving.
Do you think that was real?
Yeah.
Or-
It literally, again, tonally all over the place. That looked like a scene from Hellraiser.
Or The Thing.
It was surreal.
I like when he goes into the power plants. I need power.
Yeah.
So many gigawatts.
He's wearing a lab coat and a hat.
But he speaks to the tour guide and he keeps asking really, really weird questions. You can tell this is pre-9/11 because that guy would be like, out, call the FBI. And then that creepy, terrifying person just leaves the group and no one notices. No one watches that in the nuclear plant. No one's keeping an eye. to the point he can break into the reactor. When he comes out, though, and he's gone full Doc Brown with the hair.
Yeah.
There's a lot of bits that remind me of Back to the Future. I mean, it was a year later, wasn't it? It really has.
Yeah.
It was definitely going for that kind of same vibe, wasn't
Fun
it?
vibe, yeah.
But
Which I enjoyed it because I mean, like I said before, I went in thinking it was going to be awful, but I did enjoy the film and enjoyed all of its strangeness or whatever kind of thing.
I mean, all of that led to the third act when Leah Thompson's kidnapped by the Dark Overlord. I don't know why. Why is he kidnapped her?
Because she's an interbreeder. So
he needs a body for the
yeah.
to come in.
Yeah.
They need to go into a body.
So weird.
And she'll be birthing it. Again, Ghostbusters 2 style. They need babies, they need birth, they need...
Why didn't Howard the Duck need to go inside a human body to adapt?
Yeah... I guess he's not the Dark
Man.
Overlords. Like, I guess maybe they're in a different universe.
Because they're pathetic, that's why. The Dark
They're
Overlords
kind of
are
sad.
pathetic.
When he comes out, he's pretty powerful. He's pretty strong, and when he's a monster,
Yeah,
he's,
the creature's incredible.
I feel like he's less powerful as the creature than he is as Jeffrey Jones, though.
With the zaps.
Because he's zapping and he can blend in.
On fire.
Maybe it's the gravity difference, maybe. I don't know. Like, maybe they've got different gravity.
He's really dense and weight.
Yeah.
Well, we've got that microlight sort of chase at the end as well. When
That's one bit I don't enjoy the effects of because it's so clearly just attached to a rig, isn't it?
Interestingly, though, that scene was, I think it was second unit directed by Joe Johnston, who directed Rocketeer, Captain America.
I love Rocketeer, man.
So, and you can kind of, it's very similar.
It just felt like that's one of the real artificial moments for me. It just felt like it was on a rig. I suppose because you just know that, don't you? Maybe.
Yeah.
I think the third act was my favourite.
Yeah,
act of the film. The battle at the end.
It wraps up.
It feels like a comic book movie then, doesn't it? Which is what it's meant to be. Before that, it's
isn't it lucky
weird
that
CD.
in the science lab that they just happened to come across a dusty old destroyed alien overlord laser that they're able to mount to a car for Howard the Duck to.
Hey Joe, no one's going to buy your destroyer laser. Put it under a tarp.
It was very Benny Hill going around on the car.
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of J.R.R. Tolkien-esque, wasn't it? You know, it's like, how are we going to get out of this situation?
11 Oscar-winning worthy.
Yeah. Well, because they all climb a tree, don't they, in the Hobbit? And there's a bunch of fire, and they can't get down. So J.R.R. Tolkien's like, eagles, friggin' eagles. They just get on the eagles or whatever. And this is like, there's a
laser.
Yeah,
that's fine. But I mean, Howard the Duck then makes the selfless decision to strand himself on Earth to save Leah Thompson and Tim Robbins.
I mean, I would stay on Earth to stay with Leah Thompson. Young Leah and old Leah Thompson, maybe.
She looks alright.
Yeah.
Well, so old Leah Thompson, she wants to do another Howard the Duck movie. She wants to produce and direct a remake.
Full adult, 18, like, just nasty content.
That's what she wanted back in the 80s.
We missed out.
You're going to have to put it on
She's
Hulu.
really pushing this movie. She got it screened in 70mm. Why does a 17mm version of Howard the Duck exist? But yeah, she said she wants it to be directed by... she was inspired by Patty Jenkins. She wants to make like a feminist...
Oh, that recently she thought...
Yeah, that recently. Like now, she wants to make it. She's looking at it at the moment.
Well, that's not going to happen now with the news that...
They could only... What news?
The news that...
Breaking news.
Breaking news. Well, the news that Howard the Duck's just been revived for this animated series.
I think you could do like a one-off like film for Hulu. Yeah. Like, you wouldn't be able to put it on Disney Plus or put it under the Disney name because Disney's all about family fun or whatever, isn't it? You'd have to put it under like the Hulu streaming service, the Howard the Duck film. Like, you couldn't release it under, or through 21st Century Fox as a feature-length film. Like, because you got to go adult.
I mean, well, Howard actually cameoed in both Guardians of the Galaxy films, didn't he? Voiced by Seth Green.
Yeah. Robot Chicken Seth Green.
And, you know, he was a kind of scene stealer in that. I like, you know, it was the post-credit sequence.
That was the real
of
Howard the
first
Duck.
film.
That was the kind of, I'm Howard the Duck.
Snarky, like, cynical.
Yeah. I imagine Howard the Duck now. I'd rather he was played by Harrison Ford now. Grumpy, hates
Harrison
the world.
Ford being interviewed now.
Yeah. That's the Howard the Duck I know. When I read the comics, I see a grumpy, angry guy who doesn't like anything.
I think like he's
Proper
pretty cool,
curmudgeon.
isn't he, in the MCU? Like, he is like completely different to...
In the film, he could be Macaulay Culkin. He's like a happy-go-lucky little character, and it just doesn't work.
Did you hear about his?
That's the thing I don't like.
Did you hear about his Infinity War scene that they were thinking about doing?
I really think he needs to be the saviour. He needs to be the one who comes in and just karate chops Thanos in the throat.
No, apparently,
I mean, they could always retcon the continuity of the original Howard the Duck film. Just shoot a scene where Nick Fury goes and recruits him at the very end.
Yeah.
I'm sure that
Put it
suit's going to
together,
exist somewhere.
team.
Samuel Jackson will be up for it. And then boom, instant continuity. Great.
Nailed it.
Well, Captain
for all
Marvel's
we know,
in the 90s.
Yeah, he could be the Captain
Who's
Marvel
that?
cameo.
Or just literally Howard the Duck performing at the end of the movie. Howard the Duck. And then the song is. We'll put it in there several times.
The soundtrack is amazing,
It's
by the
wonderful.
way. It's really good.
I think if they could just get Nick Fury at the back of that office with his eyes, obviously he's got an eye at that point, just watching the show going,
The concert.
nodding his head, digging the music, thinking,
Yeah.
this guy,
Yeah.
he can come and work for S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yeah.
Well, Howard the Duck's got a lot of Doctor Strange ties, hasn't he? So I
He's
mean,
got- in
there's
one
nothing
comic,
from
he's-
stopping him.
In one comic,
Making one of
Doctor
those
Strange
balls.
says you've got mystical powers, but he
Yeah.
can't use them yet.
Yeah.
So he could be trained in the mystic arts, is what the comic suggests.
Yeah, maybe a good dusting is something that will spur him into action or whatever, you know. Like, or you could do a Tilda Swinton scene after Captain Marvel with Howard the Duck.
I think in a moment we're going to go off onto, Luke wants to talk about where this franchise is going. I want to just do one last little interesting fact, which I think is a bit of a sad thing to end on, but we talk about kind of Leah Thompson's career fizzled a bit after this movie. Willard Hook never directed another movie, or Hoyk, how you say his name.
Yeah, it's Hoyk.
Hoyk,
Or should we say,
Hook.
to rhyme with duck?
Hook.
Willard Hook.
Willard Hook.
Yeah.
Mallard Hook.
The saddest story of all, have you ever read about Frank Price? He's a studio executive, head of Universal's motion picture division. He brought Breakfast Club, Fletch, some big movies that did really well, but he was on thin ice because he passed on Golden Child. He told Spielberg that E.T. would only appeal to children, would never be a success.
Wow.
And after this film's box office, just dismal performance, he was the one who chopped it and he was canned for it.
Yeesh.
So yeah, but if you don't call E.T. being a success, you know, you've missed out there.
You can't win a war without making a few
And
sacrifices.
the wonderful headline was published in Variety: Ducks, Cooks, Price's Goose. Yeah. So Duck
Golden
Cooks.
Child's another brilliant film. Phil Tippett did some animation on that as well. The little
Phil
Tippett
Tippett.
can dancing around. Brilliant.
What's Phil Tippett most famous for?
I don't know. He's got his actually, wasn't he memified a
He
few years
memified,
ago?
yeah.
He was the dinosaur
Wrangler.
or supervisor on Jurassic
Dinosaur
Park.
Supervisor, that's it.
He went into computer generated effects because of his knowledge of 3D animation. He sort of made that segue, and online now it's kind of like, God damn it, Phil, you had one job.
Didn't he come out on Twitter and say something along the lines of, to be fair, there were quite a few of them or something?
It's like the raptors that you let loose, Phil. Raptors. So Howard the Duck's getting a revival this year. Kevin Smith is helming an animated series of Howard the Duck. He's not the only one getting an animated series. We're getting Tigra and Dazzler. I'm not too familiar with.
I know Dazzler.
Hitmonkey. And one I was excited about was MODOK.
MODOK.
If anyone's not familiar with MODOK, it's a giant head. MODOK stands for Mechanized Organism Designed Only for Killing.
Is it only for killing or only to kill?
I think it's only for killing.
Okay.
So what? It's such a brilliant design.
He worked really well in the cartoons, though, didn't he? He
Yeah.
fitted really well into the character. So
He was like a Ninja Turtles character.
That they're in a kind of Netflix Defender style team up.
Oh, you know, he
they're
used to
each
be in
gonna-
that. Just
they're-
have him alongside Jessica Jones in this gritty, real-life New York.
And a-
Giant head cutting
They're
door.
each getting their own animated series before they team up in The Offenders.
The Offenders.
The Offenders, and I think that's going to be one of the very early projects on the Disney streaming
Will that be
service.
set in Hell's Kitchen as well? Just
I
he'll be
don't
like
know.
going to church as a
Just
giant floating head.
Like, count me in for a MODOK series, though, because that's going to be brilliant. Kevin Smith is bringing this one to the screen, so he'll be doing all the script work on that.
I think
He's
that's a good
actually,
choice.
I think he's got the same
He's got the
sort of
passion for the
sensibilities,
world.
comic humour.
He seems to have a bit in common with James Gunn, who's got that kind of world mind,
kind
doesn't
of
he? He can
indie
take the silly
sensibility.
stuff and bring it together.
And what's really exciting is he's working with Dave Willis, who did Aqua Teen Hunger Force, to do the series.
I love
which-
Aqua Teen. It's
With
really
Aqua
cool.
Teen's really funny, really interesting animated series. So it's going to be more than just a silly
Yeah, there
animated
should be
show.
something
It
subversive.
should be quite funny.
Yeah,
I'm
funny,
hoping
silly.
more like Archer, BoJack.
Yeah.
Really interesting animated
I
series.
was like a cool sort of like reflection on society kind of thing, just poking fun at like current issues.
Yeah,
or
like
whatever.
kind of like the best bits of Guardians of the Galaxy does. It's aware that it's a bit silly. It's
Yeah,
aware
yeah.
it's got a talking tree.
Yeah.
It makes that a part of the joke, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I don't know anything about Hitmonkey though, and Tiger and I've heard of
No.
Dazzler.
I've only heard of Dazzler, but again, I can't say I've read any Dazzler.
But I think it's going to be really interesting. I'll be honest, I'm usually more interested now with the stuff that I don't know much about.
The weird
I
stuff.
didn't know anything about Guardians of the Galaxy when it came out. And I was a big sort of comic geeky kid, and I knew a lot of stuff. And all I knew was Rocket Raccoon.
That first image they released, because they were very different to the comics.
Yeah.
And that first teaser image of just these weird characters where Star-Lord's wearing the mask, and you've got Gamora green. You've got it was interesting, wasn't it?
I think it gives them more freedom because the fan base aren't as passionate or as big, and they can do a little bit more with it.
On the flip side of that, though, I'm terrified for Guardians 3 now.
Yeah,
I think that's
a shame.
I really worry that's going to be a bad film now, just because it's going to be a mess because it's not got because it was James Gunn's script, Gunn's film. It was going to be a James Gunn piece.
Kevin Feige recently tried to downplay James Gunn's role in the MCU, which was I get the feeling with James Gunn that there might have been some behind the scenes stuff that no one knows about.
Yeah.
Because it seemed a bit odd and a bit rapid how quickly they got rid of him. Like any excuse to get rid of him.
Do you reckon he may ask for more money or something?
I don't know. But I mean, either way, I'm really excited about his new film that's coming out. Did you see the trailer for Evil Man of Steel?
Yes.
What's it called? Brightburn.
Brightburn.
That's going to be a really interesting project. So these things work out. You know, sometimes if something flops or goes wrong, we get Pixar.
And he's the right choice for trying to claw back Suicide Squad from the drain that it's stuck in.
He's rebooting it, isn't he?
It's a full reboot. They just said it didn't work.
Yeah.
Fair play, he's kind of hanging on to Harley Quinn because that's the bit you can market, isn't it? It was something that looked good. People love cosplaying it. It's clearly done well.
Yeah.
Cling on to that. The rest of it, just bin it because it was no good. No good.
So it looks like we've got a Duck renaissance ahead of us then. So Howard the Duck is not dead. He's coming back.
Stronger and better
than ever. And, you know...
We can rebuild him.
He's the one who started the Marvel on the big screen thing. Is he going to be the one that ends it?
I'm about to say, is he going to kill it and take it?
Maybe this is the end game.
Unanimous big boss.
So, guys, would you recommend Howard the Duck? So far, Ghostbusters 2 was recommended with a 3-to-1 ratio. We had a unanimous decision on Big Bus that we would recommend it.
Holla!
I'm going to start with Rob. What are your thoughts on Howard the Duck?
I would recommend it. I'd recommend it because it's something different for Marvel fans. It's not anything like the MCU, and I think that's a good thing.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Luke?
There is no way that 5-year-old me would ever allow me to disrespect this film in any way, shape or form.
Agreed.
And you know what, at the end of the day, that's probably who the audience is. Condoms and duck boobs aside.
I think that's there for 13-year-olds.
Like, I was watching
really
it and it was an emotional response at points. I was like, I remember. It took me right back to being a kid. So I give it, 4 out of 5 duck boobs. Recommend.
Alex, how many duck boobs would you give this film?
I honestly, I think this film, I would 100% recommend this film. I really enjoyed it, and I really enjoyed it on the basis that I accepted that I was going to watch a not great film kind of thing. But I think it's so unique and different to anything I think I've ever watched before. I think it's definitely worth a watch. And I'm glad it got made, and I'm glad I watched it. So
if they were to make one now, if Marvel were to go ahead and make Howard the Duck film now with everything they've learned and done in the superhero genre,
it'd be a huge hit.
I think it would be incredible.
Yeah.
This was a trailblazer. This was pioneering.
Ahead of his time.
And
it was like the Big Bus in a way, wasn't it?
No. Can I just... I've got issues with the Big Bus being unanimous.
Well, I'm also going to say, having watched it again, having recommended it, I also highly recommend Howard the Duck. It stands up, it's fun, it's got great special effects. So I don't know what they were thinking giving that a negative review.
It's got award-winning special effects.
Award-winning special effects.
A Razzie award-winning special effects, so check it out.
Yeah, check the film out. 4-star recommended by Have You Ever Seen?
Beyond pleasure. Toxic chemical waste. Are back.
So, have you ever seen Howard the Duck? If not, march yourself down to your local cinema, because I'm sure it's still out somewhere, screening in 70mm with Leah Thompson, and watch it. Well, I guess it's time to spin the wheel and decide who gets to choose next. So far, Luke has chosen Ghostbusters 2, Alex had the Big Bus, I chose Howard the Duck, and only Rob has yet to ask the most important question this podcast has to ask. Let's take a completely random, honest spin of the wheel. Who could it be?
Okay, I'm just dragging it in because we've added a few extra. You might have noticed it's now a little bit X-rated because we've got pictures of duck boobies.
Duck boobies,
all over the spinner.
You say we've got pictures of duck boobies. I don't even see a spinner. All I see is duck boobies.
Well, Alex got a little bit over the top with
Do you want to
decorating.
spin the left one?
I mean, we had to remove the self-washing mechanism, so now they're dirty duck boobies.
Right.
Okay.
Should we give it a spin?
Okay,
Yeah,
ready?
So grab that
Ready?
boob, and pull down. Oh man, who's it going to be? Who's going to be?
Oh my!
It's Rob. What are the chances?
It's Rob! Rob hasn't had a go yet!
We've had 4
insane.
episodes. There's 4 people, and we've all had a go. The chances of that are very
That is
slim.
amazing.
How convenient.
And we did not fix that in any way.
That's incredible.
So, Rob, you had a question for us.
Well, I thought long and hard. And guys, it's about time that you reacquaint yourselves with your dentists and check your fillings. Because have you ever seen The Thing?
Your thing.
My thing.
Rob, the Concorde.
The thing.
Not
cool.
just the thing, but all the things.
All the things.
All the things.
Can we do that?
So,
Can we
the
do
one with
that?
the guy from The Shield. There's the one played by... Was Michael B. Jordan, I think? No, it was the kid from
Billy Elliot.
Billy Elliot.
Was
Those
The Thing.
things. The big orange
Right.
rock man.
Okay, awesome. I'm a massive fan of the thing. So,
Fantastic
Up
Four.
for it.
So we're looking at the original
1951,
50s
53.
Thing from
The
the world.
50s thing.
The
Kurt Russell's thing.
2011 thing.
We can have a look at Kurt Russell's
I'd
thing.
love to see
Yeah.
Kurt Russell's thing.
Is this going to be our first Have You Ever
I've
Read
seen
as
Kurt
well?
Russell's thing.
Let's go back to the book.
The Thing retrospective.
That's going to be pretty cheap on Kindle. I think we can arrange that, can't we?
Exciting times, yeah.
So, thing. Good
All
choice,
the
Rob.
things.
All the things. Retrospective. You guys ready for a quiz?
Boys ready for a quiz? Let's go.
Hang on.
I mean,
Right, hang on. I'm ready now.
duck yeah!
Duck, yeah. I think we may have to crop that. This is a family podcast. After
Yeah,
You've got
I'm
to on
trying-
Twitter.
I'm ducking ready.
I think I went with duck.
Let's
this
get
is
this ducking started.
My completely quackers quiz.
Oh, quack.
First question. What is the name of the gentleman's magazine Howard is seen reading at the opening of the film?
Yes,
Alex
it's got
is going
duck fun in
for
it.
Playduck. Rob is going for Playduck. Luke, Playduck and Duck Boobies. It is Playduck.
Yeah.
That's a point all round.
Oh yeah.
Cool.
What is the name of Beverly, Leah Thompson's band? Alex has got his answer. Alex and Rob and Luke have all gone for Cherry Bomb. Correct.
Yeah.
Nailing it, man.
Okay, this one is a two-parter.
Oh.
The classic Alex Jones-Williams two-parter.
Right.
How many Golden Raspberry Awards was Howard the Duck nominated for?
Nominated for.
And you're going to say how many did it win?
And bonus is how many did it win? So I need 2 numbers. Alex has gone for 9 and 7. Luke has gone 3-3. Rob has gone 3-1. 3-1. It is 7. It was
Wow.
nominated for, and it won 4.
Do I get a
wow.
bonus for getting one of the numbers in the wrong position?
Based on your quiz from last week, you get nothing.
Have you got
Nothing.
the list of
I have what
categories
it
that was
won.
nominated?
It won for worst new star.
For
It was
who?
the 6 guys and girls in the duck suit. Apparently, it was all the actors who played the duck.
Okay, yeah.
Worst visual effects, which
Oh, really?
Nah.
No,
worst
that's unreal.
screenplay, and it was worst picture tied with Under the Cherry Moon, which I've never seen and could maybe be a future episode. Under the Cherry Moon. So yeah, 4. And I do not agree with worst
Completely
visual
undeserved.
effects
I
at
think
all.
the visual effects were great.
They're stunning. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Okay, so this one, to make clear, the question is which pop starlet auditioned for the role of Beverly Switzler? But I'm looking for the one that actually was given the role initially, but then was replaced by Leah Thompson, because a few people actually were considered, but one actually had the role briefly.
Okay. I don't know
Pop
that.
starlet. So I'm looking for a musician. She's at the early part of her career. And he's gone for Stevie Nicks, Madonna, Cyndi Lauper. It was Tori Amos.
Oh,
Tori Amos.
okay.
And this one, I think you'll get 1 mark, but you might not get the bonus. Which schlock director, as a hint, was slated to direct the film? Bonus question: why did he turn it down? I should go for Alfred Hitchcock because he was busy.
Alfred, some of the schlock that he's made over the years.
Was he alive in '86?
It's not a significant factor.
Rob has gone for John Landis, correct.
But I didn't know the reason.
Don't know the reason, so the answer is John Landis. Luke?
Oh.
Roger Corman, it was John Landis with his film Schlock, which we were talking about doing as a future screening.
What was the reason why he didn't do it?
He didn't do it because he read the script and he turned it down because he believed that the multiple police car crashes in the finale were too similar to his previous film, Blues Brothers in 1990.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So he just thought, I've done car crashes,
Can't do anymore.
I'm tired of it. I'm not going to hit a one-trick pony.
To be fair though, he's right. How are you going to top that? 'Cause that's like the best car crash scene in.
How do you score yourselves, guys? Who's the winner this week?
I think Rob is. I think
3.
Yeah,
Why am I the only one that keeps track of the score? I'm doing it for the fun of it. I'm not.
Is that a tie? I think everyone got 3.
No, I only got 2.
So Rob and Luke, do you think you got 3 or more, Luke?
I don't know. No.
Luke didn't get
You got
three.
John Landis.
You got John
I think I
Landis,
was two, yeah.
So hand it over to Rob as the winner. Congratulations, Rob.
Nice.
Everything's coming up, Rob. He's
Yeah.
the host next week.
Yeah.
He's won the quiz.
It's almost like it's planned.
Thanks so much for listening. To let us know what you think, drop an email to hescast@gmail.com, or you can like us on Facebook or follow us on Twitter and Instagram over at HES Movies. Thank you very much.